Happy 93rd Facebook Live Wednesday. Today's topic is just so close to how I feel about what my mission here is. You know, I'm all about building brains, but part of that is how do we build the emotional part of our neurons, right? Our brain really tells us things that sometimes isn't true. So when I thought of this topic, how do we help our children overcome, right, limited beliefs? The question really is, how do we overcome our own inner child wounds? I wanted to read this. I journaled about it this morning, and I realized we all act out in pain. You know, whenever you're frustrated, whenever you yell at your kids, whenever you feel extreme disappointment, anger, resentment, you really are suffering. You know, you're acting out the pain that you suffered as a child. Think about that. You are acting, oh my gosh, it's my cousin Charlene. And thank you for popping in, Carrick. So when you think about that, every time we act out, right, whether it's sadness, whether it's resentment or anger, it really is acting out the pain that we suffered as a child. What were we taught about loss? What we were taught about money, about love, about how relationships work? Did we learn how to argue in a healthy fashion? I know I have a tendency to be like my mom, and she just emotionally reacted. Towards the end, she would say, I'm so mad at daddy. Towards maybe the last few years of his life. And I'd say, why? What happened? I don't remember, but I'm really upset. I'm not going to talk to him for a long time. And I thought, that belief passed on to me. And now I'm realizing it is very emotionally unhealthy to react. But it's so human nature to react, right? So when I've been researching, the past, ever since I was in my mid-20s, the brain, right? And our true self. Listen, this is what I wanted to read word for word. Our true self is usually damaged by negative childhood experiences, right? It's also the part of self-conscious. Listen to this. It's a part of our self-conscious, our subconscious, that picked up messages before we were emotionally and mentally even, processing. We were not able to process messages the right way. So we hold memories, we hold beliefs, we hold emotions from the past, and it could be generational trauma that was put on us due to parents, grandparents, great-grandparents, and even in utero. You don't know what your baby witnessed or felt. What did your baby hear when you were pregnant? I know I was riding on an emotional roller coaster, and I'm sure my daughters heard stuff that they probably shouldn't have felt, shouldn't have heard. But we're humans, and it's a natural tendency to act out our emotions. And I've been teaching my students, do not believe in every thought you think. And they think, what? Because we do believe every thought is true. Maybe like Charlene and I recently lost our parents. My dad in 2016. My dad was her mom's baby brother. And, I could have gone to that route where, oh my gosh, I'm never going to be able to be happy again. Just be lost in the past and think this is just such a horrible loss, And I probably spent a few moments giving myself permission. That grief journey is it's not even a roller coaster. It's like a tangled web of wires. Picture your multiple phone cords that are just entangled. Can you imagine untangling them? You don't even want to untangle those emotions, especially when they're deep and dark and real. The grief is real. I was on someone's podcast yesterday, and I had never spoken about, I documented. You folks saw the videos, you saw the photos, you saw what I wrote. But how was I feeling emotionally? Sometimes I think I did escape or detach myself. So when you have children, adult children especially, I'm learning that my adult children were affected by events and things that I said that I don't even remember. Or maybe I had an intention of saying something, right? And they misinterpreted, and it developed a whole unhealthy belief system. And I thought, do I want to continue this generational unhealthy thinking pattern? Or I've been telling my daughters, now grandma and papa are with us all the time. I mean, that's even better to, rewire our brain, better than having them like in person. Of course, we all want them to be in person, but I feel my parents' presence, and I know that they're my guardian angels. I mean, I've been doing meditations on, connecting to your deceased loved ones, which I really, really believe in. And so change your belief systems to anything that provides you with peace, with promise, with, moments of like hope that, what, I will get through this. So when I wrote some things that we should say to any age, if our children are 3 versus 43, every one of us wants to hear phrases like, what, I believe in you. Instead of coming to Chelsea's rescue and believe me when it comes to academics, I find myself sweeping in because, first of all, whenever we see our children in emotional pain, right, mental pain, physical pain, we want to fix it. And now I'm realizing if I fix it, if I give my students the answers. I had my 5-year-old say, can you please make my eyes of my, she was drawing some superhero. Can you do the eyes? Because I can't do the eyes. And I said, you got this. Just do this. And I kind of had her copy mine. And I said, wow, look at what a great job you did. And she looked, you could tell that she wanted me to do it. And I said, I'm not drawing it for you. But in the past, I would have drawn it, just to make them happy. We are not here on this earth to make our children happy. That's a hard belief rewiring to do, right? We are here to love our children unconditionally. We are here to, this is a hard one, not judge their behavior and choices. If you disagree, right, with what your children's choices are, the worst things that I've said in the past were, I thought I told you not to do that, or I'm just so disappointed, or why did you do that? And could it be just such tiny comments, and it rips our child's self-esteem. So I had a really deep conversation with someone in their 30s yesterday, and they were sharing how a lot of things their mom had said just deeply just hurt her to the point where, some of us don't feel worthy. Hey, Fran. Hey, James. Right? Do you ever feel unworthy because of whatever and you don't know why? It could have been something that you heard in utero. It could have been something that someone said to you, a classmate, someone in passing, maybe just looked at you weird and you really personalized it, but maybe they thought of something and they were reacting to that, but you knew that the comment, the reaction was meant for you. If someone says something mean or disrespectful, it has nothing to do with you. If your child is rolling their eyes or saying, what, stop telling me what to do. And you think, how dare you speak to me in that tone? Well, I invite you to change that belief and say, what, why is my child, right? Even if you have a child in their 30s, or the wonderful teenage years of 13, why are they reacting that way? You touched a nerve. Maybe they feel that they don't deserve the respect, but they're attracting, people who treat them not in a respectful fashion, right? Or maybe they just had a tough day at school. I often, first, whenever I see my student, I say, so how was today at school? And I either get, I don't know, but their whole energy, right? Feel the energy, even through the phone, through FaceTime. When you communicate with your child, no matter what age, assess where they're at instead of, following your own agenda. Because I do this, right? You have an agenda. You want this conversation to be about whatever it is. And then your child starts talking and you think, okay, when is it my turn to just tell them that, first of all, they messed up, or they need to take care of this, or something that you feel is the number one priority, but your child does not see the same priorities you do, right? Did you do your homework? Did you start planning for your taxes? Did you fill in the blank, right? That is not our priority. It shouldn't be our priority. Is it a natural parental instinct to worry and want the best for our kids? Yes, absolutely yes. But I'm learning, 2 adult daughters, 19, soon to be 20 in March, my little one, and then my older one, hard to believe she'll be 26. I'm realizing I have to stop judging, and I have to stop like the guiding. Sometimes we guide them, but we're not really guiding them. We're like kind of force feeding them and saying, you should do this. You should not do this. So the phrases that I wrote down are, I believe in you. Simple as that. Can you imagine if you were in your 20s and you made mistakes and you thought, oh man, I totally messed up. And one of your parents or grandparents or maybe someone you respected said, you know what? I believe in you. You're going to get through this. And they say, how? I have no idea how, but I have faith in you. You've got this. And I was tutoring a 5-year-old this Sunday, and he kept making mistakes, kept getting the numbers 12 and 20 confused. And I hear him talking to himself, you've got this. You've got this, Chance. You've got this. You are a superhero, Chance. And I thought, wow, someone must be teaching him to have positive self-talk. Because what do you normally say? I normally say like, oh my gosh, can't believe I got this algebra problem wrong. Why am I tutoring if I'm getting these problems wrong? And then one of my cousins shared, Karen, your job is not to get the answer right. Your job is to have a positive learning experience with your student. Your job is not to complete the homework and get it all right. And I thought, really? But they're paying me not to do their homework, right? And that's a belief system. Your adult child does not need to know all the answers. Your adult child is allowed to make mistakes, and even the worst mistakes that you think are possible to make, and maybe they result in something that you think should not happen. Maybe the worst case would be, going to jail, or maybe a divorce, or losing a job, or, whatever you have in your mind, you think this cannot be happening. What can I do as a parent to stop this? I invite you, in order for you to help your child overcome limited beliefs, we have to be role models. Now I tell, because Chelsea's like, I thought you said not to lecture. And I giggle and I go, you're right. Thank you for reminding me. I thought that you wrote Mama's Gotta Let Go, right? Which I think I want to trash sometimes, right? Because it's like, yes, I wrote it. How to let go without losing your sanity. Well, Mom's losing her sanity. And guess what? Just because I wrote it does not mean I've mastered it. Really? Yes, really. Okay. I don't know why you wrote it then. Because I need to learn how to let go. And it doesn't mean that I know it. So when your children, and I found out that, your children really look up to you at a certain point, then they become an adult and they sometimes question, do you even know? I think you know what you're supposed to teach me, but I don't know because, I don't know, Mom, sometimes, right? Our children look at us, think we have it all together, but when they see us emotionally react, we have a meltdown in front of them, we get really angry, or maybe we wallow in despair. My daughters have seen me, oh my gosh, this is just so horrible. And then I realize, oh my gosh, is that a positive habit that I want them to, practice? Now I'm saying, you know what? I know that things seem horrible. I think I messed up that interview. No, you didn't, Mom. Yeah, I messed it up. I think, wait a minute, we have to stop and really pause and reflect before we say something so that we can help our children rewire. We need to rewire, and it is possible. When you look at neuroplasticity, which is like a fancy word for just changing the way our brain cells are wired. And you can, through, which is what I studied, neurolinguistic programming sounds fancy. All it is telling ourselves constantly what we think, right? If a thought pops up like, oh my gosh, I messed up, or oh my gosh, I cannot survive without, the physical presence of my parents. And then I have to rewire, right? Okay, I'm never going to see my mom again. I'm never going to hug my mom again. But wow, she left me with amazing memories. She left me with amazing lessons that have impacted my life, and I am helping others. I just realized the lessons that my parents taught me, I'm teaching to my children. I'm teaching to anyone I have a conversation with, It can be as simple as, you're in a grocery store and my mom taught me to just be kind, even to strangers, even to people who are mean to you. You don't react. I mean, it's natural, but then you think, wait a minute, they must have had a bad day. My friend says every time someone cuts in front of her, she says, their wife's in labor and that's why they cut in front of me. But, it's just whatever you say to your children doesn't have as much of an impact as what they see you do. So if you say, be honest, always be honest, and then they see you texting, I can't come to the gathering because I have an engagement, or you end up lying, and your child says, wait a minute, why are you lying? One time I didn't want to go to something, and I said, I'm going to just say that I have to do something with the family, and Sabrina goes, why do you have to have a reason? Why do you have to have a reason at all, Mom? And I think, I don't know, because I don't want to feel like I'm saying, no, I don't want to go. You don't have to say, no, I don't want to go, but teach your children to be tactful. They can say as simple as, it's not a lie, but you can just say, sorry, I'm not going to be able to attend because of, that's it. I just realized that. Sorry, I won't be able to attend. That's it. And I thought the beliefs that we have, right, regarding money, Chelsea and I just opened our first Charles Schwab account, right? And we decided to, I had her decide which stock. You can invest as little as $5. So she invested $100, and I'm watching her realizing, wow, she's a risk taker. Come on, Mom, let's just do this now. And I looked at her and I thought, as introverted as she is, the judgments that I've made, because of whatever class of 2020, all the things that they've gone through, she's lost her grandma. I thought, we can really go into that dark space. Those of you who really know my story, I have been vulnerable, and the recent article I wrote was the gift of a failed suicide attempt. I tried to take my life when I was 30. I divorced my husband, met Thomas the following year, had Sabrina the following year. I went through a lot. And now that I am reflecting, I am realizing we all need to instill hope in our children, right? So overcoming that limited belief of either I'm too old, I'm behind, things are never working out, I'm never going to have enough money, why does this happen to me? Whether it's a heartbreak, whether it's some tragedy, remind your child, wait a minute, what we put energy towards is what we attract. At least I believe that. So no matter what spiritual or religious background you come from, I want you to know the importance of retraining your brain, because your brain doesn't know what's true and not true. If you tell your brain, you know what, we can't do this because you didn't have enough education, you don't have enough experience, you don't have what it takes. Your brain goes, okay, I believe you. So this is where rewiring, remind your children their value does not have to be defined by financial worth, right? Their value does not have to be defined by the house they lived in, whether they rent, whether they own, whether they lost their job or, want to quit their job. Will they be able to find something? Of course. They break up and it's a heart-wrenching heartbreak that you want to rush in and you want to heal their heart. Don't. Because all they need to hear from you is, how you are so lovable. and I love you, and I feel so lucky to be your parent. I feel so lucky to be your uncle. You are just the sunshine in my life. If they think that you're being mushy, just say, I just want you to know. Here's another one, that you're important to me. Do you know that? A lot of kids don't feel important, right? I just want to let you know that I genuinely care about you. And your teen might go, really? Then why don't you let me take the car? Why don't you, let me do what I want? Well, caring and loving doesn't mean to give them, unlimited approval to do whatever they want, right? So that's another belief. If you loved me, you would give me all the money to get my video game. If you loved me, you'd let me play 6 hours a fortnight. That's a real good opportunity to define what love is, right? If you cared about me, then Mom, you would do my taxes for me. If you really cared, you would treat me to that, dessert that I want. That $60 dessert from that five-star restaurant, you would do that if you really cared for me. And so I've had to answer that. If you really were a tutor that cared, you would do my homework for me. Or can I pay you? Can I just sleep? And that's a conversation about, values, what love is. So this is what my daughter has said, right? I know you're trying to, my younger one, I know you're trying to prepare me for adulthood, and that's why you're, making me do this by myself. And they might make fun of you. They might roll their eyes at you, but they need to hear that you believe that they can handle whatever life throws at them. I've had conversations recently about how Chelsea and I did not spend as much time with my mom before she died as Sabrina. And I told Chelsea, Grandma didn't, equate, the amount of time that you spent meant that you loved her more and then you loved her less. She thought, is Grandma upset? No. And that's another belief system. We must know our worth, and we do not have to even feel the need to get approval. Because that approval is in our head. We are grading ourselves for the way we react. We are grading ourselves for the way maybe the decisions we made with our parenting. And I'm realizing, when I said, oh gosh, I really messed up. And Sabrina said, stop saying that, Mom. It's like you're playing the victim role. And I thought, what? And then I thought, yeah, what am I saying? I'm saying that I'm a crappy person. And if I'm a crappy person and I gave birth to my daughters, then are they going to internalize and say, well, if you're a crappy mom, then that doesn't mean I'm a crappy kid? And I never thought of it in that way. So this topic, helping your children overcome limited beliefs, is all on our shoulders to say things like, you are perfect with every imperfection. I love you no matter what, right? I used to tell my daughters when they were 10, even if you commit murder, I know you're not going to commit murder, but I want you to know that I love you no matter what. And they would look at me, what? But my point was, I loved them no matter what, right? I would say that. But if they brought home maybe a bad grade, I'd be like, did you study for the test? What was I implying? That their grades define their worth, right? Your adult child loses its job or maybe quits. You have a child that keeps quitting their job, or you have a child who keeps breaking up a relationship, and you think, that was a good person. Why did you break up? Your internal message is, aren't you making the right decisions in relationships? With money, why did you go buy that? Do you really need that? Okay, you're implying that they're not financially responsible. You don't trust that they're making the right decisions. So it's a struggle because, when we care, those are the comments that we make, right? You see your child spend 10 grand on a motorcycle and you think, do you really need that? Right? So what do you say? Wow, that looks like a fun purchase. Hope you enjoy that. That's it. Wow, you spent $2,000 on that ring. I'm glad that you find yourself worthy of that, because you know what? You're worth every penny, and that's it. what, you want to be this is Chelsea, you want to be a ballerina, violinist, photographer who specializes in culinary arts? I used to say, wait, you need to just choose one profession. But you know what you're teaching your child is there's only one answer then. But we evolve. I started out at Hawaiian Tel as a marketing telephone customer service. And then I switched to the Hawaii State Bar Association, right, as their managing director. I was the managing, what do you call that? I took care of their magazine and their the attorneys. It looked like attorney's yearbook, but it was like called the bar directory. And I dealt with the media. Then I thought, you know what, I went to school for this, but I don't want to be in marketing, especially if I pursue a family, right? So my thought was, I cannot be in the corporate world if I wanted to be married, if I wanted to have children. So I have to rewire, right? And now I'm maybe 58. Am I too late to pursue this new path? Sometimes I wonder. Sometimes I wonder, am I a good parent? But then if I question that, I didn't realize my daughter's here. Well, am I a good daughter then? If my mom is second guessing her parenting, then is she second guessing how she raised us? What? Yeah. So have these deep, awkward, uncomfortable conversations with your adult children and be aware of the tone that you use. Be aware of the actions. Just notice what they say and what triggers you have, right? Because I notice whenever my competence or my decisions are questioned, I kind of feel like, oh my gosh, did I mess up? No, none of us messed up. We just learned through navigating. And sometimes we traveled the road less traveled and we thought, oops, maybe I shouldn't have done that. You come back. You always come back. And so if your child had, 17 breakups and changed careers, 13 times, it's okay. We all have our own journey. So I don't know if I kind of ended up rambling for half an hour, but thanks, Carrick and Charlene and James and Fran for being here. Fran, thank you so much. We visited her farm on the Big Island, and Chelsea still found, was it nutmeg or something? And she's like, oh my gosh, I found this on Auntie Fran's farm, and she treasured the avocado that she picked. And then I realized, wow, I didn't know that my daughter really treasures like fruit from another island. It was like, oh my gosh, this avocado came from Auntie Fran's farm. And I thought, but you can get other avocados. No, but mom. Then you realize, from that simple conversation, what does your child value? And if it's not aligned with you, it doesn't matter. If your child says something that is different from your belief system, it doesn't matter. You are not here on this earth to create a clone of yourself. You're here to appreciate and support your child's journey, no matter where it takes them. If it takes them to prison, I'm putting out scenarios where you think would be the worst case, right? If your child is against your beliefs, your child joins a cult, your child, decides to have, 14 children from 14 different men, right? If they're a daughter. And then if you have a son, they decide to, have, 7 children from different women, and you decide, I'm not going to support them, right? Whatever you think of. Just know that, that's their journey. That's not mine. Our role is not to fix. Our role is not to prevent problems. Our role is very simple. Just love them. So to help them overcome their limited beliefs, change our belief system, and just be cautious in what we do more than what we say. And I'm going to close with, don't avoid, don't tell your children, don't do that, because that's going to make your life really hard. Because what if they'll learn the most valuable lesson by choosing that hard, treacherous road filled with volcanoes and tornadoes and, all these wild storms, but they come out more resilient. They come out learning what they're passionate about, and they truly live life. Because if we keep protecting our children, and in a way, I think my parents did that. They wanted me to They wanted to protect me, right? When I first started my tutoring business, my dad was like, you can't put your phone number on a flyer. I'm like, Daddy, how can people call me? You know, and he was always worried that something bad was going to happen. But he had a very, very traumatic childhood. Just knowing that when he was born, he found out later that one of his sisters died drowned in a stream or drowned in somewhere, and his dad, my grandpa, found his daughter dead in a stream coming home from work. That is a belief that's hard to rewire, that life is hard, that bad things will happen. So I'm going to close this with a belief system that I decided to rewire. I let Chelsea ride her bike to ballet. Oh, my dad was furious. He said, but I couldn't take her. I was tutoring. Thomas was working. She wanted to go to ballet. She felt safe. It is a very safe neighborhood. But even people in my Milani, district said, that's kind of scary. She could be, kidnapped. She could be raped. She could be bad things could happen. And my dad was like, I can't believe you're doing that. Do you know how many bad things could happen? And I said, Daddy, I am not going to raise my girls to fear the world. Because then I think they're going to attract that. And I don't want them to live life in fear all the time. And he was silent. I think he was like, okay, I got to go. And he hung up. And I felt judged. And then you question, am I doing something bad? What if? And then I thought, am I going to repeat that fear, right? Fear and anxiety is something that is passed on, or we just get it from our personal experiences, right? Something bad happened when you were 3, you might be 53, and you still hold that fear. So I decided to raise my girls differently. They believe in angels. They believe the universe will support them if they put it out there that they can manifest. They can manifest whatever they want if they have faith, if they, are determined and persevere, overcome challenges, if they, have a supportive tribe, if they just believe in themselves. So, I know I went over my 30 minutes, but thanks for watching, guys. Have a wonderful Wednesday. And no matter what you do, if you want to overcome your own limited beliefs, or if you want to help your child overcome limited beliefs, just say positive statements. I'll repeat the ones that I would say are, hey, I believe in you. You're important to me. I care for you. You know what? I trust you to make whatever decision you make. There is no right or wrong decision. I say that to my daughters. There is no right or wrong, right? It's just a learning lesson, whatever you choose. And this one, I know you can handle anything that comes your way. And I'm here to support you. I'm not here to, do the challenge or fix it, because you don't need me fixing anything. There's nothing broken, okay? So thanks, guys. And if you guys are interested, if you know anyone who wants to access, if you want to learn tranquility tips, my friend Deslin Hawkius and I are having a virtual workshop. We're going to be doing this every 4th Saturday at 5:30 p.m. Hawaii time, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you're in the East Coast and you're up, 10:30 p.m. Eastern Time, right? And we are going to be having a lot of fun making affirmations, meditations, and movements essential in your life. Is for all ages. I had someone email me from Eva Mackay Middle. Is this good for middle schoolers? Make it a family event, right? Have your brother, your sister, your grandchildren, your friends, and be there for us, for you, and learn how to overcome limited beliefs by changing and incorporating affirmations, by incorporating meditations, and fun movement. Be there, and we look forward to seeing you there this Saturday. Message me if you want the link. We've been posting it and sharing it on Instagram and LinkedIn and, Facebook and pretty much everywhere we can. So sorry if I'm bombarding you with these TikToks. And follow me on TikTok. If you guys are on TikTok, Letting Go with Aloha. I am doing 30 TikTok parenting tips. And today I just posted, I believe, 23, and I have 6 more to go. I don't know why I decided to do this. Just go with the flow, right? Go with what inspires you today. And I will see you next Wednesday. Bye.